to do the Winter Essentials book tag. This is originally by AZebraReads and I will put all the details in the description for you. So I've already got my books sorted. I decided to film this one sitting here because my back is killing me. So I think if things going well, all things going well, this should be day 10 of Vlogmas. So I think day 10, 11 and 12 are all just going to be filmed here. I'm probably going to batch film this. I'm probably just going to stay in the same outfit if I'm being perfectly honest, because I do not feel good. I look good. I am really loving my hair right now, but I do not feel good. So I am dedicated to getting these videos out, but I'm not going to kill myself in the process. So I have my books here. I have the questions on my laptop, so I'm going to go over my answers for this book tag. First question is Crackling Fire. Who is your favourite cold character that you warmed up to in the end? And for me, I have to say Mary Lennox from The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I got this beautiful edition when I was in Aberdeen visiting Tori. It is honestly like the most beautiful leather bound edition, published in 1990, and I got it for £3. How amazing is that? Anyway, I just want to show off this edition. So Mary Lennox is a character who is brought up as very much an unwanted child. She's brought up in India by a family who doesn't really want her there, or mum especially doesn't really want her there, and she's raised by these Indian servants who she's been taught her whole life are below her, so she will hit them and kick them and punch them and nip them, and she's just all over it. A horrible, horrible little girl. But when she moves, she has to sort of move from India to the moors. I think it's the somewhere moors, Yorkshire moors. I don't know. To live with a family that she's never met, her mother's twin's husband, because both her mother, her father and her aunt have all died, and she's gone to this big manor in the middle of nowhere where she doesn't know anybody. She's now been told she has to look after herself, because even before she would dress herself, she wouldn't dress herself, she wouldn't feed herself, all of that, and suddenly this culture shock hits her. And I feel like everybody says she's such a horrible, horrible person, a horrible, horrible child, and I see that, I do. But if you think about the trauma that she's gone through, her entire life has been sort of uphauled, her family has died, she's moved to this place where she's suddenly, you know, the culture shock has hit her, and I really feel for her. And her growth in the end through finding the garden and caring for the garden and learning what it's like to be somebody who's wanted in a family. If you don't like Mary Lennox by the end of it, then I don't know what I can do for you. I think she is a character who really grows on you. Number 2 is Snowflakes. What is a book that was full of unique characters? For that, I kind of had to think about it. For me, I ended up going with The Heroes of Olympus by Rick Riordan. Rick Riordan adds a lot of characters to his books, especially in the Heroes of Olympus books, where you are looking at people who have come out of different time periods. You're looking at people who come from different backgrounds. Not two of these characters have the same background and ambitions and you know, way that they make their way through the world. They're all very, very individual characters, and they're all very, very fully written characters, which makes them that much better. They're all so unique and so different, and I just think they're all wonderful, and I think he's done a fantastic job of creating all these unique characters, and I love every single one of them. Number 3, Gingerbread. What fictional family would you want to be a part of? I have decided to go for the Arjanu clan. Like I said in one of my other videos, this is a family that if they decide you're family, they will go back for you, they will put their lives on the line for you, they will do anything for you. And I think being part of such a big family like that must be incredible. And the way these characters all interact, I absolutely love them, and I would love to be a part of this family somehow. Number 4 is Blizzard. What book had you confused the whole time? For me, that is got to be Shades of Grey by Jasper Fforde. I ended up liking it by the end and wanting the sequel, but the sequel's still not been written yet. But to me, this was just such a confusing book. It's set in a world like a dystopian future where people are ranked by colour, and it's based on the colours that they can see. So there are greens and reds and yellows and blues who can all see different shades of these colours, and the more shades you can see, the sort of higher in society you are. And then within that there are also, like, I think reds are quite low down, greens are quite high up, and there's a whole other like system. I couldn't get myself to grips with the system in place, which then made the story that much harder to follow. And then there are people called greys who can't see any colour, they just see shades of grey, hence the name. And they are kind of like the underdogs who then want to start a revolution, and this is about our main character, whose name is Eddie, who is a red and kind of gets pulled into this revolution. But it's such a weird book. I enjoyed it, but it's such a weird book. Number 5, gift giving. What's the last book that was gifted to you? That one's nice and easy. It was Just Like Magic by Sarah Hogle. I got this from the lovely Lisa, and we are currently buddy reading this badly. Both of us are struggling. It is a struggle bus. I am, as of filming, which is on the 12th of the 12th, I am on page 126. I've been reading this at least for a week. At least for a week. And that's as far as I've got. Not because it's a bad book, by any means. I'm actually really enjoying this. I just have been on a struggle bus this week, this month, this year, since 2020. So yeah, I am enjoying it, but it's slow going. This is only the 3rd book I've picked up this month, and one of the books that I finished was only just a chapter I had to finish this month. So technically this is the 2nd book I've picked up this month, and it's already the 12th, so we can all tell how my month's going. Number 6, Snowball. What is the biggest book you've ever read? I had this question in another tag that you will see before this, so you should know the answer if you've seen all of my Vlogmas videos. And that is The Fire Across by Diana Gabaldon. This is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the Outlander novels. It is a whopping, what was it, 14,000, no, 14,000, Christ almighty. It is a whopping 1,412 pages. The pages are like Bible pages, like they're so thin, and there are no page breaks for chapters, so chapters begin in the middle of the page. I'll show you just now. So there's a chapter start there. So if this did have chapters, and that's chapter 41 this far in, if that had page breaks, it would be like double the size. Number 7 is Wrapping Paper. What is your most beat up book? I don't know if this counts, but it is the most beat up book that I have in my collection because I keep mine pretty good. It is this copy of Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. And the reason I don't know if it counts, because I mean it's a pretty beat up book. You know, spine cracked, pages written on, like it's a pretty beat up book, well loved. It's a very well loved edition of this book. So this was published in 1994, so this is almost as old as me. The reason I don't know if this counts is because this is actually my friend's book that they lent to me, and I've not given it back to them yet. But in my defence, I haven't seen them since they let me borrow it, and that was, honest to goodness, years ago. And by years ago, I mean I was in high school, and I haven't seen them since, which is a damn shame because they're a great friend, and life just got away from both of us. But yeah, so this is the most beat up book I have in my collection. Other than that, I think I've got a second-hand book somewhere that is pretty beat up, but I can't find it. Next one is number 8, Christmas Lights. What is a book you own that has many colours on the cover? For this, I've chosen How He Disappeared by Jing Lee. Sorry. And this, as you can see, is very colourful. You've got purples, blues, greens, gold, red, and there's a little bit of orange in there that doesn't seem to be coming through in the lens. But it was between this and The Opposite of Butterfly Hunting, which also has like orange, red, green, blues. That one's probably more colourful, but this one sort of caught my eye more because of the sparkle, shiny. Yeah, this is about women who were taken during World War II from Singapore and other places by the Japanese to be used as comfort women, I think they called them. Basically, these were women that were kidnapped and forced to be sex slaves for troops to keep the troops' morale up, because screw these women apparently. Well, bad choice of words, sorry. Because apparently these women just didn't matter. So yeah, this is from the point of view of one of these women that was taken away, and it is harrowing and heartbreaking and horrifying, and I have no words, but it is so well done by this author and shines a light on something that was hidden for years. Okay, so number 9, Ice Skating. What is a book that had a plot that was all over the place? For this, I'm choosing The Leviathan by Rosie Andrews. This, like I keep saying this, it was almost like there was 2 stories in here, and she was trying to tell them both at the same time, and neither one got told. It was just, like I said, all over the place. Like this cover is just the plot threads, because it was all over the place. I think I might unhaul this, but I'm not sure. And I can't even tell you what that book's about, because I can't. It's something about witchcraft, and then there's a boat and a creature, but the creature's both a real creature and not a creature, but it's unresolved in the book anyway. Number 10 is about evil. Christmas Tree. Who's your favourite character of all time? Yes, you can only choose one. So I looked at my shelves, and probably unsurprisingly to most of you, I ended up on Tommy Grayson from Who's Afraid, from the Supernatural Sisters series. I was torn between Tommy and Carvosi from this series, and also Rose from Vampire Academy. And I'm sure if I looked into it, there's so many other characters that I love, but Tommy is just hands down one of my favourite characters of all time. Number 11 is The Star. What book you look forward to rereading each year? I don't know if you've been here on my channel long enough for me to hear me say this, but there is one book, actually there are 2 books that I read every year. One is a book that I reread every year because I love it, and the other is a book I reread every year because it's Christmassy. That one's Let It Snow, which I've talked about recently in other ones, but the book that I reread every year because I just love it is The Martian by Andy Weir. I don't know what it is about like, it's just a fantastic book. It is sci-fi. I'm not a sci-fi reader, but this book, Mark Watney is a fantastic character. He is everything you need in a character, and it's just put this man who is trained to deal with incredible things as an astronaut, who's a botanist, who's an engineer, who has a sense of humour that I just love. Drop him on Mars and then leave him there. Like, that is what happened. And he deals with it in such a way that I love. At first, he is like, I'm gonna die. And then he has a massive temper tantrum. And then he's like, okay, I'm not gonna die. I'm getting off this planet. Doesn't know how, but he's getting off this planet. And it's more of a realistic sci-fi, I would say, because it's not like I'm going to build together a rocket from these scrap parts that I've got. Like, no, there's actual scientists on Earth that help him, and I love this book so much. So much. I just think it's been beautifully done. The film is quite good. It doesn't quite convey the same thing. The Mark Watney in this, I think, is a lot funnier, and the things that happen to him are a lot funnier, I suppose. And you get perspective. So the Hab, for example, it goes and talks about the sheets and how the sheets were made for the Hab, and the dunes and the dust on Mars, and it's just beautiful. I'm scared to read anything else Andy Weir has written because I don't want it to ruin how much I love The Martian. Okay, number 12 is Snowball Fight, tag 5 people. I don't know who's already done this. I know Lisa's already done this because Lisa tagged me, but I honestly can't think of 5 people who might want to do this. So if you want to do it, please go ahead and do it and say I tagged you, because I don't want to stare at a screen for long enough trying to work out who has and hasn't filmed this already. So that is my Winter Essentials book tag. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any opinions of any of these books, as always, please let me know in the comments. If you've read them, if you haven't read them, let me know. Especially things like The Martian and Who's Afraid. I love to discuss them, and I am also looking forward to discussing Percy Jackson in Rose Patreon read along and the read along that I kind of doing with my friends. So yeah, I hope you have a happy Vlogmas. I hope you have a happy Christmas, or whatever it is you celebrate this time of year. I could not think of the word there. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.